TIFU by getting a new job and doing it in 1/7 time of the last person. TIFU by getting a new job and being stupidly efficient in it. TLDR below, but basically I got a job 3 months ago and I've been, as most new personnel would, trying my best. I suppose this fuck up happened a few months ago, but I only just realized when it was raised at a staff meeting that the team pay was far lower than usual. So it's just come to my attention that I'm keeping up with all of the tasks within 7 working hours a week. The last person who held this job for 4 years worked 35 hours a week to get it all done. That's over 4x more efficient. I'm getting paid by the hour and could have easily claimed I needed 38 hours a week to get shit done. However, they've already seen it can be done in 8. I just lost myself at least $3,000 a month in paid Reddit scrolling time. I fucked maths up but can't change the title, should say 1/5. TLDR got shit done efficiently, shot myself in the foot. This reminds me of the TIFU where a guy was being hired to fix IT problems for a company, and fixed them during his interview to prove he could do it. So they didn't hire him because the job was done. If I was your boss, I'd convert you to salaried so I wouldn't be at risk of losing you, and then I'd set you loose to see what else you can improve. I love that kinda shit. What you need to do is fuck things up for a week and then say it wasn't as easy as you first thought and take a week to fix it. Rinse, repeat. I did this with a metal shear. They gave me a list of sizes to cut. I went back to him with a couple hours left in the day. I asked what was next. He got a little rude and said something like, "I appreciate your initiative, but you need to focus on your work, not what you're doing next." I said I finished. He said that was a week's worth of work. Lol. This is what pisses me off about working by the hour. The better you are at your job, the less valuable you are. If the company wants a job done, they should pay for the job, not the hours it takes to do the job. Your good work will be rewarded with more good work. I used to do the work of 3 people. Then I couldn't get promoted because they would have had to hire 3 people to replace me. Reminds me of the guy who had automated his entire data entry job. He was supposed to be working all night doing data entry from home. But his script handled everything, so he just sat and played video games and kept an eye on it. He was really well paid. His employer was super happy with the volume of work he was getting done, and they wanted him to train his peers. In reality, there is no human way to do the entry as fast as his program was performing. Not sure what happened to him. Reddit history, I guess. I was hired into a large financial services company to take care of their Macs because the guy couldn't keep up. I rebuilt all 20 Macs in the course of a couple weeks, and the tickets went from 20 a week to 2 per month. This is in 2001. So they hired me for desktop support. Windows NT 4. It never touched it. 1 year later I was desktop support manager. Then PM for NT to AD migration. 22 years later I'm the ISO for all technology globally. Make the best of it. Now this is your chance, man. You need to ask for more pay. If they don't give it to you, fucking move on. They need to pay for your expertise, not the time it takes. Hardball, negotiate for the same pay as the last person who held the job, or tell them you're leaving. Value yourself. You could maybe ask for a raise. If you're that much faster and get that much more work done, Vish can be proven. It shouldn't be unreasonable to get a raise. You could also look for the same position in other companies and communicate with them with their pay. Unfortunately, being a good worker usually means you're doing other people's work eventually. Do what you need to do, in the time allotted, and don't go above and beyond what you're being paid to do. Hard work is rewarded with more hard work. My brother did this too. Working for the city, emptying trash cans at parks on walking trails. I wanna say his route was 9. A whopping 9 cans or something stupid. I know drive time is involved, but he was done by noon when it took the other guys all day. He asked what's next. They said, "You're done already?" "Dude, this is supposed to take all day, slow it down." He said, "But it wasn't hard, what's next?" That's pretty much every city worker for you. He now drives the trash truck. The fuck up was society, not you. We should be compensated for both our time and value, not one or the other. They are two quite different trades, and house sitting is much different than house renovating. You did what was right work to the best of your ability. They did what was wrong, allotted time compensation for said task, and then failed to accurately compensate for the task. Time to find another job. I think since the previous occupant of that position did it in a lengthier period of time, you should have asked yourself questions, or maybe approached him behind the scenes and talked to him. Because once you knew you could do it in 7 hours, you should wonder what he needed all those extra hours for, hence perhaps prompting you to talk to him. Still, I'm sorry this happened to you. World economy is crazy, and I sincerely wish you didn't lose that much money lying on the table. Way back in my college days, I was hired by a professor to be a grader. It was presented to me as a 20-hour-week job, paying twice minimum wage, but I could easily grade all of the homework sets on a Saturday morning. The first week I turned in a 4-hour timesheet, and was scolded for not putting enough time into it, with a big wink. His final words were, "Don't ruin the deal. Never start a new job and outwork people that have been there for years. All you'll do is piss everyone off and screw yourself over. Just match what everyone else is doing, maybe slightly more." I absorbed a team of 7 people over the period of 6 months, as each left due to fears over the business being sold. In total, my 40-hour work week only went up by about 3 hours. After I automated their jobs and some of mine, I was down to 20 hours a week. Management was so afraid that I was going to quit that they were throwing me bonus after bonus. I got a 50 salary bonus one year. I ended up starting my own IT outsourcing business and took over the outsourcing of all IT for this company. 20 years later, they are still a client. Dude, you gotta hide it better than that. The guy in my job before me was there for 30 years. He didn't like or use computers, and there are some tasks that require me to look up lots of information. Like, out of these 2,000 employees, who complete the mandatory training and who didn't. He would go through their physical paperwork one by one, and it would take weeks. I'm fluent in Excel and Access, so I do that job in minutes versus weeks. It gives me so much time to watch YouTube and Reddit. I developed a stupidly simple spreadsheet that saves anyone that uses it in my department a whole bunch of time just doing calculations. The day I did that, I coincidentally saw a life pro tip to not tell your boss when you develop a tool that makes work easier. Haven't said a word. My first job out of college was a contract to hire position with an estimated 3 months workload planned out. I finished the work in 3 weeks. They did keep me around for 6 months before they finally ran out of busy work for me. It's a lesson learned. Next job, make sure to manage expectations from the start. Never go above and beyond. All you get for that is more work. It was raised at a staff meeting, you've now got verifiable data to support the position that you deserve a raise. Talk to M. What you need to do now is demand higher pay or quit. Know your worth and don't ever be scared to demand, not ask, demand you be paid it. This is where you ask for a raise and a better position in the company. So quit. It's still a full job, so pay 40 per week. My friend is a DevOps engineer. He could game 7 hours of the 8 daily. They paid him to be there if SHT happened. And there were weeks with a lot of SHT happening, where he would need to work for the whole 8 hours on things I can barely fathom the basics of. So they either party you for a real job or tell them to find someone else if you're in a situation to do so. So it looks you'll need a second job if they don't pay you well enough, so might as well just leave. Do yourself and your bank account a favor and find a more challenging, higher paying job. You are better than this job. What is the job about? I recommend finding something that doesn't pay by hour. Sales is the easiest, but most jobs can be done self-employed. Then you charge by service, not by hour. The better you get, the higher the salary. Never ever 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 give it your all at work, kids. They won't pay you for trying so hard and shit like this happens. Something similar with me. Showed up and fixed everything they complained was chronically broken and then had nothing to do and got let go and replaced by an MSP. It then dawned on me why stuff was always just slightly broken all the time. It was the previous guy's job security. First lesson of the Scotty principle is know the job. Then, it is the technique of adding extra time to your estimates when asked how long a task will take so that you appear to be a wizard when you accomplish the task quicker than you first claimed. Never exceed your performance factor by more than 20. If you project a task will take 1 hour to complete do it in no less than 48 minutes but no more than 53. Yup, a lesson learned, friend. Never give your A game when it comes to work, or sex. You set yourself up a standard that you must achieve, or exceed. Now you're expected to rock it from here on out. Find a balance where you're efficient and skilled at your job but you aren't being overworked or taken advantage of. It comes to a point when being paid hourly is a punishment for efficient work and skill. It's stupid. I'm assuming this job isn't math. Read title, already had whole story understood and on lockdown, 10/10. This is the best mistake to learn from. Never be too efficient on the job. You'll just get more workload without more pay and have more stress. Be efficient, but at a rate that makes it so you're valuable, doing good work, and not losing out on an easy time. I got in trouble with a temp agency once because I finished in 4 days what they quoted would take 2 weeks. Quality work, too. I naively thought they'd be happy I was such a good worker. I figured I'd make up those lost hours with another assignment. You've had enough red flags, you could build a slalom course. Time for a new job. My mantra is always keep expectations low. Then you can exceed them when needed. And don't let others down when it isn't possible. This is good news. Keep doing your absolute best for like a week, make yourself an integral part of the company. When the time rolls around for you, tell them you're quitting because of the pay, they'll do everything in their power to keep you on board. TIFU by participating in society and being exploited. A person I know did something similar. But it turns out she made very rare mistakes. But it was the kind of a job that even a minor mistake cost the company a lot of money. So for 6 months she bragged how everyone she worked with was so much slower than her. The company didn't care about speed, but they certainly cared about accuracy. After her 3rd minor mistake in a year she was let go. Charge a higher rate per hour. They should be paying you for your value provided, not for your time. It sounds like you have a strong case to negotiate higher pay. When employees are more efficient, the employee does not get to keep that value. The value goes to the owner instead. So why be more efficient? If you are more efficient and you can prove you produce more in a shorter time, you can argue for a pay raise that is in line with your value. Good luck with that though, because your bosses are rated by how productive the team is, meaning if they pay you more, their on-paper productivity falls. Just say you are having issues and crank that time back up. This happened when I started my new job. It irritated me that my coworker would do things the hardest way possible. It turns out that that's the way he learned over 10 years ago and never bothered to check to see if there was an easier way to do things. Didn't TIFU though. This sounds like me. When I first got my current job, I would drive as fast as I cared to. It took me 2 months to realize that the company was budgeting me for almost twice the travel time and I was screwing myself by driving 10 to 30 miles per hour over the speed limit. I now drive either at the speed limit or below on cruise control, and enjoy the gas savings and the additional pay. Okay, simple solution. Stop doing it fast. Even if you get fired, go to a similar job and do it slow. This is one of the things I hate most about the working world. I like improving the things I work on and make them better, more efficient. I don't enjoy just doing the job and leaving it as it was. But I realize you don't get much in the way of thanks for doing this. So next time, unless they give me better pay, I'll make it more efficient for myself and use the extra time on my own things. X200B. It's sad because nothing really improves in this system. It's a shame that being efficient and good at your job means you make less money lol.